Hi, friends. Welcome back. I'm Emily.
And I'm Whitney.
And you're listening to Cousins Talk Crime. You're listening to a true crime podcast. Today's episode may include sensitive or triggering topics. These topics may include domestic abuse, child abuse, substance abuse, sexual assault, torture, murder, and suicide. So, Whitney, as you can tell, we're already in the fall spirit.
Yeah, we are.
This one will release technically still in August. But hey, all the pumpkin spice stuff is out at Starbucks and everywhere, so
I've got pumpkins out on my front porch.
Already?
Like
Wow.
fake ones.
Oh, fake ones? Nice. My mom and sister-in-law went to the Dollar Tree yesterday. And Anika, my sister-in-law, she really likes gnomes.
Yeah.
And so she found these little decorations, and Mom didn't notice until like they got home. And they're cute little gnomes dressed up in like Halloween costumes. So my mom went back to the Dollar Tree today to buy some for me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I've got a cute little ghost right here. This ghost was made by my friend that I work with. His name is Andrew.
How do you make that?
He 3D printed it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I messaged him and I said, hey, would you want to 3D print me a ghost for my podcast? And he was like, yeah. So he, is looking up different stuff. So we had a bunch of different ones he was looking at, and then that's ended up being the one. But yeah. So he made my little ghost for me. So I'm excited about that. Just going to throw that on the ground.
It's cute.
I like him.
Those 3D printers are cool.
They can do like anything. I don't think that's a hobby that I'll ever pick up, but I like people that have them. He's made like so many functional things for us at work. Like I've got a laptop holder, and it like holds my laptop up, and I can use it as another screen.
Yeah.
And some other stuff. And then what was it? Oh, he made me some little what do you call those? Succulents. He made me some succulents. His wife is painting them.
That's so cool.
Cute. So I sound like I'm using my friend Andrew just for his 3D printed goodies.
That's
Who knows?
Cool,
maybe I am. I'm just kidding. I had like this big staff meeting yesterday, and they were like, introduce yourself, tell us stuff about you. So, I just tell them stuff about me. I'm not talking about my podcast with my coworkers. Like, my close coworkers, they know about it. But, like, our big staff meeting, no. So, when it was my friend's turn to introduce herself, she's like, I really like to listen to podcasts. Emily has a really good podcast. And I'm like, oh, no.
Were you embarrassed?
Not embarrassed, but I'm just like, I don't really want everybody listening. I was
like your boss, yeah.
And I mean, it's not like I say anything wrong, but
right.
I also don't want to have them listening so that if I do say something wrong one day,
right, you're not reprimanded.
I'm screwed. So it's all good.
Because we do live in that cancel
culture, yeah. Anyway. What else you got going on? What do you have going on, Whit, that you want to talk about?
Can't think of anything. Just been really busy.
Just busy. Wrapping up summer, kids starting school, getting back adjusted to that stuff.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of late nights this week.
Yeah?
Yep.
Has any of the sickness went around in your family? Because I feel like everybody's sick nowadays.
Mm-mm.
No? That's good.
Cooper seems to be sick anytime he has football practice, but he gets over it really quickly. Like it hits and then it's gone.
He doesn't want to go to football
practice?
Comes
out of nowhere. He'll be fine, and then the minute he's like, do I have practice tonight? I'm like, yeah. Then he's like, I don't feel good. Like, you're going to practice.
So has he decided he doesn't like football?
He swears up and down he loves football and he loves games, but I think sometimes he just doesn't want to get,
Yeah.
He says he's still really, because I asked him that. I was like,
Mhm.
if you don't want to play next year, you don't have to play. He's like, no, I want to play. And
Just the
it
thought
has
of
nothing to
playing.
do with, the sickness has nothing to do with practice. He claims.
Mm. I've been there though, where like the thought of doing
Yeah.
something makes you sick. But
And
once
once
you
he's there,
do
he's
it,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine.
And afterwards, he's glad he went. It's just he has that moment prior.
Did you see that Linton played a team from Ohio yesterday?
They got beat.
They got beat real bad, but honestly, I shouldn't say this, but like kind of glad the team from Ohio won because they drove like 4 hours to be here. I feel bad. But like Linton doesn't get stomped like that.
Mm-mm.
That's not something that Linton is used to. So I'm really curious if anybody is listening to this that knows like why we played this team from Ohio. Please let me know because I don't know why
Was
we
it like
played
a real
them.
season game?
I think so.
So it like goes on their schedule, and I mean, it'll be against them that loss.
Maybe I thought it was only state, like so maybe it isn't on their schedule, and it was just like a scrimmage. I don't know. I just don't understand why we played this team from Ohio. And this team from Ohio has like 48 straight wins or something. What I heard. That's a lot of. That's a lot of seasons.
That's a lot of whooping.
That's a lot of years.
I,
Football. It's not very many games in high school.
Cooper's K through second grade team. They're full pads, helmets, tackle. They're undefeated.
Oh.
And they are beating people. I mean, like, I don't know how many points it is, but it's like 9 touchdowns to nothing.
Oh
You
my
know, like
gosh.
they are just, yeah.
They're whooping butt.
Mm-hmm. They play at Lucas Oil tomorrow. Yep. We're going to watch them play.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be so cool for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's excited.
That place is going to feel huge.
Oh, yeah.
That field is going to be like...
No, but I know like the team above him, maybe it's the 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, almost all of them are like, I know they all have winning records. I don't know, we may be the only undefeated one.
Does Solomon only have one team per class, or are you playing against other Solomon teams?
Oh no, we're playing against everybody. We have away game. We have games twice a week, like in Terre Haute. We play Terre Haute. West Vigo. We played West Vigo. Who else have we played? I'd have to look at the schedule. No, we play everybody.
Wow.
We played Linton last year and beat them, and now this year we're not on their schedule.
They said we don't want to play them.
I don't know what happened, but they're not
on the schedule this year.
Yeah, we went there and like I said, it's Cooper's is K through second. The tackle is, and last year when we played Linton at Linton, there was like a fight and coaches, on the one of the coaches coming off the field to attack a fan. Like, this is like little kids. You guys have to chill.
No, I almost got us Linton people. We don't know how to chill. We don't know how to chill. I was at one of my nephew's baseball games. Like, I don't know. They were probably still doing, no, they weren't doing coach's pitch. They were doing kid pitch at that point. But it was probably like the first or second year of kid pitch. Anyway, one of the people I went to high school with, like someone that I knew very well, I will not say who they are, but someone I knew pretty well, was not like super good friends with them, but he was umping the game, and he was not doing it to my standards. And I was very loud and vocal about how I felt. He came over there and was like, I'm going to kick you out. So he's like, he'd like looked at the coach. He wouldn't actually, no, he didn't even come to me. He like went to the coach and he was like, if you don't get them to stop talking, they're going to leave.
Was he being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, he was mad.
Yeah, sorry to that person. You'll probably know you're talking about, like, you'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, this one when we played, one of the fans on our side, and I mean, it was probably a boy that was, I want to say 14, 15 age range. Like, said something from the sidelines, not, it was something like, yelled something like that was a bad call or or you're something. And the coach, like, mouthed back this grown man to the 14-year-old, and then the 14-year-old said something. He came off the field. I mean, charging him, and two umpires grabbed him before he got to the 14-year-old kid. I was like, what were you going to do?
Let him. I mean, he wasn't going to kill him. Let him so that his, like, everything's done. Let him be all over national news for attacking a 14-year-old. Let him do it.
Like, if you can't handle and it wasn't even that deep, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything you should get, like, riled up about.
People love to get riled up around here.
Mm-hmm. All right, Emily, enough football talk.
I know, right? Okay.
People are like, oh my gosh, we don't even like sports. What are you guys talking about?
There are some podcasts that I listen to that I'm like, would you guys stop talking and get on with the
You're both
episode?
probably hitting the skip till we get to.
It's okay. Skip us, guys. It's fine. All right, I'll get into it. We'll get started. So, today's episode is going to cover the Murdaugh family murders. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of the Murdaugh family murders. If you don't think you've heard about it, you probably have. You're just not connecting the name to it. But I'd say probably like a year and a half ago, I remember hearing about this case on TikTok. But something has recently happened in the news that's got this case kind of highlighted back in the news. And so it reminded me that I needed to do this case. When I first saw this one like a year and a half ago, that was like way before we ever even dreamed of this podcast. So I totally forgot about it until like this week whenever I was trying to figure out what I needed to do. So, the Murdaugh family murders. I don't want to give too much information out from the start so that if you don't know anything about it, I don't want to say what this is about, you know what I mean? It's the Murdaugh family murders, and I'm just going to tell you about the family, and then we'll get into everything.
And I've always liked this case, but like I told you, I haven't followed up on it recently, but when it was going on, like I was into it.
Yeah. I think there was like one TikTok, and I'm going to show it to you today, that like pulled me into it like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm going to tell you about the family. So, the father of the family, his name was Richard Alexander Murdaugh. If you're watching the YouTube video, he's the, older gentleman on the right. So he was born to a very, very, very prominent family of lawyers in South Carolina. And he was born on May 27th, 1968. And Richard Alexander Murdaugh, he went by Alex. And Alex's great-grandfather, grandfather, and father were all lawyers. And they had collectively served 87 years as the elected solicitor of the 14th Judicial Circuit. So I didn't really know what that was because I am illiterate when it comes to legal speak. So, if I'm saying anything wrong, I apologize. So know that I am illiterate and I'm doing my absolute best.
Sorry, Emily.
You're okay. But from what I saw, it's an elected person to represent a government in court proceedings. So I don't know if it's like, how you have like, I don't know, Casey Anthony versus the state of whatever. I don't know if those are the people that represent the state.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. I could be totally wrong as to how I'm understanding it, but
I think you're
anyway,
right.
87 years. that his family was doing this for the state of South Carolina. Like, they were a very prominent name. I think about prominent names in our small Greene County area, and they're, you know, they're not even anything remotely close to that. So I can imagine. And throughout those 87 years, you can imagine that his family gained a reputation for its power and its influence. And it kind of seemed like you could get away with stuff just by saying, I'm a Murdaugh. You get pulled over by a police officer for speeding. Oh, you're a Murdaugh. Let me let you go. That kind of stuff. And Alex was not one to step away from family tradition, and he too became a lawyer. And I apologize if I'm sounding crazy. I feel like my lisp has gotten better, but I still feel like I still feel like I sound like I've got something in my mouth.
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it? Okay, that's good. I mean, I'm hearing it for sure, but okay, well, that's good. Maybe I'm just paranoid. Now, he became a lawyer, like I said, and he worked for the law firm PMPED, which stands for Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Eltsroth, and Dietrich. And this firm was founded in 1910 by Alex's great-grandfather. So that's just a little bit of background on Alex Murdaugh. Now we're going to move on to Maggie Murdaugh, which is Alex's wife. Now, Maggie was born to a very modest family near Nashville, Tennessee on September 15th, 1968. Her parents are Terry and Kennedy Brandstetter. And Maggie's father, Terry, was a very hardworking man that moved his family around when he got a good job opportunity. And I did read where Maggie bounced around from Tennessee to North Carolina, to Pennsylvania, to South Carolina. And from people that went to school with her, said that Maggie was a very, very preppy girl and pretty in school. And she wanted to live that Southern dream. She wanted to go to college, get a degree, find a husband, and have kids. Yeah. That was really her only dream in life, from what people remember her as. Maggie and Alex both met at the University of South Carolina in 1991. Alex was Maggie's first quote-unquote real boyfriend. I'm assuming that just means first serious boyfriend. But that did not stop Maggie from seeing the potential of that Southern dream that she had longed for. And the couple married on August 14th, 1993. And as you can imagine, since Alex's family line had built a legacy of almost 100 years, you know, in this South Carolina, and they were mostly known in Hampton, his family came first, and the couple moved to Hampton to continue that legacy. Yeah. So any dream that she had of being in Tennessee or wherever, she put that kind of stuff. His family was always... Took precedent. Yeah. Now, from what I read, Maggie was great, very down to earth. A Murdaugh family member in a article I read openly said that their favorite Murdaugh is Maggie, even though she was married in. Like, she wasn't even technically a Murdaugh. Maggie was kind, and I saw where Maggie was the only one who made time to visit a family housekeeper who suffered a fatal fall in their home. So they had a housekeeper, and this housekeeper tripped over one of their dogs and fell down the stairs and suffered a head injury. And so as she was in the hospital dying from it, no one came to visit her but Maggie, which seems... Sad. Yeah, I know. It's like... I don't know. I feel like you'd want to go visit to try not get in any kind of legal trouble.
You'd think if it happened at your house.
Yeah. And Maggie and Alex did have 2 sons. Their first son was Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr., and that was Buster. So that, if you're watching the YouTube video, he's the one on the left. He is the older one. And he was born on April 11th, 1993. And I'm actually not sure if that's a correct date because I saw somewhere else he was born in 1996. So I don't know which one was correct. I don't know. But I did want to point out that April 11th, 1993 is actually the same day that one of my best friends in high school was born.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And here's a fun little fact. If she's listening, I don't know that she listens to this, but if she does, she's going to be rolling right now. So her birthday's April 11th, 1993. The year doesn't matter. So we were talking one day about how Friday the 13th was in April that year, and she freaked out. She was like, I hope it doesn't fall on my birthday. And like, your birthday's the 11th. So therefore, it won't fall on your birthday.
That's funny.
It was just one of those brain fart moments. She's very smart, so don't think anything like that. But she's very smart. Okay. So their second son, Paul, which of course is the other person in the picture, was born on April 14th, 1999. And from what I saw, Maggie was a really good mom and lived for her kids. She gave them everything and every opportunity in the world. Now let me tell you about the kids a little bit, because they both have their own troubled backgrounds. So the first son, Buster, which is the one on the left and the older one, Buster went to college and received his undergraduate degree, and then followed in the family footsteps and attended law school. And from what I read on the Wikipedia, we always know how the Wikipedia is not always accurate. However, sometimes you gotta go with the source that's got the most information. But from what I read on Wikipedia, he was not readmitted to law school his second year due to low GPA from his first year, and apparently his dad, Alex, paid the school $60,000 to adjust the GPA in a positive direction and to readmit him. I did not read where or like whether or not that worked. I'm not sure. I know, I'm not sure if that worked or not. I do not know if Buster ever finished his law degree or not. Now, and there was a death of a person that Buster knew, and his name was Stephen Smith. He died due to blunt force trauma and was found on the side of the road. His death was ruled a hit and run. And from what I read, which I'm not going to say this is true at all, but just from what I have read, people were suspecting Buster for this murder because he was in an alleged romantic relationship with Stephen, who was openly gay. But Buster had an alibi for the murder. And I guess this past June, just a couple months ago, Buster sued Netflix and Warner Brothers and others for defamation, saying he was falsely accused of murder. So I know that Netflix and other places have done documentaries about the Murdaugh family murders. And they are, in the documentaries, they're accusing him of stuff. And he's suing them all for it. So that's just me stating what's going on. So if you hear this, Buster, please don't sue me. I have nothing. You'll get a lot more from Netflix.
Right.
I'm not saying you did it. I'm just saying what's going on in the news. All right, so that's really all I know of Buster right now. And so we'll move on to Paul, the younger one. He's got his own set of troubles. When Paul was 19, he was operating a speedboat under the influence and caused a crash that killed his friend, Mallory Beach, who was also 19 at the time. Security cameras caught Paul buying alcohol with his brother Buster's ID, as Paul was underage. I guess Buster gave Paul his ID for him to by the alcohol because, I mean, they are brothers. They do kind of look alike. Both got reddish hair. So it was something that could easily be a good fake. Paul was brought in and charged with 3 felony counts of boating under the influence, causing the death of Mallory, and seriously injuring 2 others. Paul pleaded not guilty to all charges and was bailed out of jail. Now, if they've got the toxicology that he was under the influence, how can you plead not guilty if you were the one that was operating the boat? Unless he's...
I think you can still...
But what's the point? Take a plea deal, because if they can give you your toxicology, then you're going to be found guilty.
Yeah. Was he claiming he wasn't driving?
Maybe that's it. Maybe they're going to say, where's the proof that I was the one driving? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Now, the kids had their own set of troubles. But the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. And Alex had a bunch of legal troubles as well. Now, Alex comes from a very well-to-do family of lawyers, like I have said. And he is also a lawyer himself. However, here is a few highlights of his criminal activity over the years. He has been charged with embezzlement. Alex admitted to stealing money from his law firm, like writing checks to clients and depositing them into his own account. He also took a $121,358 loan repayment that was intended for his brother. They were supposed to pay his brother this money, and instead he took it. Fraud. He misled his clients, including keeping the majority of a $2 million settlement that was awarded to one of his clients. So I assume it went something like, hey, you're getting a $200,000 settlement. Here's your $200,000. But really, they got a $2 million settlement, and he kept the $1.8 million.
Yeah.
That's how I am envisioning that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how this works because, like I said, I'm illiterate when it comes to legal lingo, but he also sued himself as the homeowner to receive an insurance payout after his housekeeper died in a fall at his hunting retreat. So I don't know how he sues himself and gets money. I don't know how that works. If you understand how that works, please enlighten me, because I don't know how do you sue yourself and get money?
I don't either.
I don't know how that works. I don't know legal jargon. Okay, so other stuff that he got into, just to name a few, was he was also charged with forgery, money laundering, computer crimes, and a breach of trust. Alrighty, so we're going to go into the night of the murders. And so on June 7th, 2021, Alex Murdaugh, the father, called 911 from his cell phone at 10:06 p.m. or 10:07. I have seen conflicting information, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of that call right now. We're obviously not going to listen to the entire 12-minute and 40-second thingamajig, but let's listen.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child have been shot badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Yes, sir. 4147 Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay?
Hurry.
Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay? I'm still here. Stay on the line. I'm still here, okay? Carlton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot. Mr. Murdaugh, go ahead and talk to Carlton.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay. How did they shoot? Did they shoot themselves?
Oh, no. Hell no.
Hell no.
Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennels.
So that was the 911 call, just like a little snippet. Obviously, Alex sounded very, very distraught. So Maggie, his wife, and his younger son, Paul, which was 22 at the time, they were shot and killed at their family's hunting lodge. And from what I have read, he was visiting his mother that has dementia. He comes home after visiting her and sorry, my dog's crying downstairs and made me laugh. He's visiting his mom with dementia, and he comes home to the hunting lodge and finds them there. And so after the 911 call, whenever the police arrive, I want to show you the body cam footage. It's always been a debate on if he had weird body language and stuff like that. So we're going to watch a little bit of whenever the police get to the scene, start talking to Alex.
Sir, I want to let you know because of the scene, I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir. It's leaning up against the side of my car.
Okay. You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
And son.
Okay.
It's bad. It's bad. Check the pulses.
Yes, sir. This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went and this is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck a few months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
He's been getting like punched. I know that's what it is.
Okay. When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's, and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay. Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are. Yes, sir. That gentleman that was out here already, he's one of the battalion chiefs. Okay.
I'm just going to say that's a really quick escalation to go from punching to killing somebody.
Well, I think what I was confused about is at the very beginning. He said after I saw the scene, he left somewhere and went and got a gun and then came back.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, I think. Do you think that part's weird? I mean,
I don't know. If I came on the scene of a crime where two people were killed, I may run into the house and go get a gun because you don't know if that person's still there.
yeah.
That may not. To me, I don't think that sounds weird.
Okay.
I just think, as a lawyer, he knows things that he should say.
Yeah.
Things that he should do. He knows he's supposed to act distraught.
Yeah.
He knows that he's supposed to act that way. And two, he's like, oh, I've got a firearm over there. I don't have anything, I swear. Like, he knows that. And he starts bringing up this boating accident that Paul had. Like, oh, he killed somebody.
After him.
Yeah, he killed somebody in this boating accident. People are after him now. So he's checking all the boxes that he's supposed to check. Let's see if there's anything else important here. I have not watched the body cam footage yet. I feel like I have, but it was a long time ago. So we'll see if there's anything else good here.
How did you pull up? You from back there?
I went to the house and they weren't home, which was odd. I tried to call.
Okay.
And then I knew they had been down here before I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
And so that is loaded.
Okay.
You might want to unload it. But I mean,
Is this the only firearm with you? This is the only one, or is there any more in the truck?
I believe that's it.
You think that's the only one? Okay.
I'm 99%.
Do you normally
certain that's
have
right.
any other firearms in your vehicle?
I don't, but
Okay.
occasionally there's a pistol in there.
Okay. Just wait right here for me for a second, okay?
All right, so I think he does. Yeah, I don't think we talked to him for a bit. Let's see what we got here.
Randy. Maggie's caller, Dad. Where are you now? All right. Yeah, the police are here now. The police are here now.
Affirmative.
That's my brother.
Okay. When was the last time you were here with them? Or talked to them or anything like that?
It was earlier tonight. I don't know the exact time, but
Okay.
I left. I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Okay.
I rode around with Paul for 2 hours this afternoon in the pickup truck.
That's your son, Paul? Okay.
Somebody going to check him?
Yes, sir. They've already checked him.
Okay, I think that's enough of the body language and stuff for him. To me, I feel like doing this podcast, I've seen so many different reactions of people. I just think if you did something wrong, you're not going to respond the right way.
Right. I agree.
And-
There's no right way, I feel like.
Yeah,
to
there's no
respond.
right way to respond. There's no wrong way to respond. It's just, if you did it, you're going to get caught. No matter how stupid or how convincing you sound, if you did it, you're going to get caught. No matter how convincing you are. And so, as you can probably tell, a lot of speculation on Alex himself. That he would have been the one that committed this crime. I'll give you a little rundown of what actually happened the night, or how people are saying that it went down. So they were out at the hunting lodge, and they have kennels outside where their dogs are. And there's like a tack room on the side of the kennels. And that's where Paul was shot. And he was shot, I believe, with a shotgun. One of them was shot with a shotgun. The other one was shot with an assault rifle. So it gives off the appearance, I think, of whoever committed this crime. They wanted to give off the appearance as this was a two-person crime.
Yeah,
Since
with
there were two different weapons to kill two people. That's how I am dissecting that. But he was in the tact room, was killed with a shotgun. And then the wife, Maggie, she was shot with an assault rifle a couple times. And so there is, I feel like I'm showing you a ton of videos, but there is a TikTok video I found that shows a breakdown of how they think
The timeline happened.
like what the timeline happened and how it happened. So I will show that now, which I think this one's cool. I feel like this was the first one I remember seeing of the Murdaugh murders.
Paul Murdaugh ended his Snapchat video at 8:46 p.m. A few minutes later, he walks into the feed room. He's texting a friend and reads his last text at 8:48 and 59 seconds. Seconds later, the first shot is fired at 8:49:01. His phone is forever locked and never used again. Blood starts to drip from Paul's left arm, and he staggers to the door. The gunman probably thought he killed Paul with the first shot. But as the gunman goes to get his other weapon to probably go kill Maggie, he is shocked when he sees Paul by the door. He quickly grabs the closest gun and shoots Paul again through the head. A second earlier, Ms. Maggie at 8:49 reads her last text, and she is interrupted by the loud sound of gunfire. She turns to run back to where Paul was, and the gunman grabs his gun and walks towards Maggie. As she approaches towards the feed room to see what happened, she sees Paul on the ground. But the gunman shoots her as she approaches. Here we see the two entrance wounds, one here and another here. Circling around to the back, we can see the exit wounds of the bullets to Ms. Maggie. Now we can see those wounds, one here and the other here. We can see how she was shot in an upward direction, with the bullet going through her breast and into the head as noted in the diagram.
All right, so that's like the deconstruction of how we're thinking. Obviously, we don't know who the shooter is in that, but that's how they are taking it. Like I said, 2 different weapons for 2 different people. I feel like that gives the persona that there were 2 people that did it. I'm assuming that was his or whoever's.
It mentioned on there, have you seen Paul's Snapchat story right before?
I've got that one. I'm going to be showing that one here in a minute.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember seeing it.
Yeah. Well,
It's so sad.
Yeah. And
He's like feeding his, like playing with the dogs, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'll get into it. But I was like, whenever I heard about it, I'm like, there's something with a Snapchat video. And I can't remember what it was. And then my mom was like, oh, it's this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what it was. So, as he said, he was visiting his mom that had dementia, which I think is very, very convenient. You're visiting your mom that has dementia. She can't confirm whether or not you were there. She has dementia.
Right.
So that's a good try to alibi there. She'll probably be like, yeah, he was here. Yeah. So now, like always, police do their thing, collect their evidence, create their suspicions, all this kind of stuff. And apparently, right off the bat, the police were suspecting Alex. They thought his body language was weird. They thought the whole situation was very weird, and they were suspecting him 100%. A lot of times, anyway, whether or not he's suspicious or not, it's a family member that finds you dead, you're automatically suspect number 1. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I did see that, since he is from such a prominent family, they kept this very, very secretive. They did not want anybody to know that Alex was suspicious to them. Like, they kept their investigation of Alex very, very private because they didn't want, they didn't want to be intimidated. And, this family was going to find a way to weasel their way in and get rid of evidence or find a way to get him off.
Yeah.
If they thought that they were suspecting him. So Whitney just brought something to my attention. I remember reading about it in my research, but I must have forgot to write it down or something. But there was a point after the murders. I do have on here. It was September 4th, 2021. So they were shot in June. So June, July, August, September.
Yeah.
It's like 3 months almost after it happened. He had hired a former client to kill him. Assisted suicide. And that didn't work. But from what I'm reading here, this was in People's Magazine. It says on September 4th, 2021, Murdaugh called 911 to say he'd been shot by someone driving by in a pickup truck. But authorities and even Murdaugh's lawyer previously said Murdaugh engineered the shooting himself.
Yeah, it said he was shot in the head but survived with minor injuries and was released from the hospital after 2 days.
Shot in the head? That's wild.
He issued a vague statement apologizing to his family and colleagues. Now, that doesn't scream
guilty. See, to me,
He wants this huge conspiracy. All these people are dying, and now he's like, now someone's trying to kill me.
Yeah, that's what I was
When
saying.
he's the one killing supposedly.
And from what from what I read, they're saying it's assisted suicide, right? It's an assisted suicide attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, he seems too vain to try and commit suicide. I think he was trying to act like someone was trying to kill him.
Yeah, I think that was the whole stunt. That's
Yeah.
what he initially called in and said that someone.
So that would prove that he didn't kill his son and
Because just
wife.
like when he came up
This
on his
person
son,
must
he
have
was
done.
like, someone's after him because, he's in that. And now it's like, oh, someone's after me.
Yeah, I don't buy the assisted suicide thing. I think he's saying that now that he got caught doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Silly guy.
Silly Billy.
I'm sorry I laugh too much in serious situations.
Me too.
Sometimes I need people to understand. We've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's been quite a while since we said it. When I'm uncomfortable and I don't know how to react to something, I tend to laugh. If you know me, and Whitney, same. If you know us, we're very happy-go-lucky people. And so when we're experiencing something that's not happy and go lucky, we're trying to be happy. And so I got a comment on a YouTube video, and there's absolutely zero hate to this person because I totally understand and I know we need to work on it. But they're like, you're laughing too much at something that is super serious. I'm like, yes, but I also am laughing because I think it is just wild that someone
or
like
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah. Or, like someone like Darlie Roudier would cut a screen in her window and not think to walk through it.
Her sister says she's innocent.
We won't get into that. Ooh. But to me, that's as we're laughing right now.
Right.
So I'm going to try to do better.
There's crime podcasts that are like crime and comedy. I mean,
No, I know there are
sometimes you have to have a little bit of that with the dark, or it could. I mean, listening to us would just be depressing. I feel like
depressing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If we sat here and cried and moaned and just were like down in the dumps this whole time, I honestly don't think anyone would want to listen to it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
That would be miserable.
It would be. Yeah, so anyway, in July of 2022, after that silly stunt, he was indicted, and he was also at that time disbarred from his law degree and practice and whatever. So his trial did begin on January 25th, 2023, and as I was looking up the stuff for that shooting and heart attack, because she thought it was a heart attack at first, anyway, one of the jurors for this, I believe, had a heart attack the day before the trial was supposed to start. So that's maybe why you got a heart attack, is maybe you saw that in the news too.
I knew he was faking something and called 911.
Yep. All right, so we're going to get into the evidence that they have against Alex. And so they do have a lot of technical evidence, like phone records. He has phone pings that show he was at the house at the time of the murders. Okay, and that video reconstruction that shows us says it happened at 8:50 or something in the evening. He calls it 10:07, 10:06. That gives him an hour and 20 minutes to clean up, make sure they're dead. Because how many times has someone killed somebody, called 911, and they're actually not dead? That's happened. And then they saved their life, and he's the one that killed me, So he spent all that time hiding these guns and cleaning himself up and making sure they were actually dead. And it's found, I found in articles that Maggie had been to a divorce attorney a few weeks before their murders, which is another weird coincidence. That's a huge motive to kill somebody that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
When a partner doesn't want to be with another partner anymore.
Or they're going to take half your money.
Yeah, take half of your money, which is probably a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can have none of it. And like I said, cell phone tower pings prove that Alex was there at the time of the crime. And the smoking gun, which is what I found on TikTok, is a Snapchat video that Paul recorded maybe just 2 or 3 minutes before he died. You can hear Alex in the background. So
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's the smoking gun. He says he wasn't there, and you can hear him and his mom talking in the background.
Do you have it?
Yes. She's like, I want to hear it. So yeah, this is the smoking gun. I remember not
Kids
being
are all the time taking Snapchats, and their mom and dad don't know.
Yeah.
My parents don't know they're on Snapchat.
Here is a Snapchat video that Paul took at 8:44, and he died at before 9 p.m. So very quickly. So listen very carefully, friends.
Get back! Get back! Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. Sorry, Dad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come on. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
What's up, Bubba? Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Did he say, come here, Paul? Come here, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe they were talking to a dog named Bo or something. I don't know. But that is definitely Alex's voice in the background. That is definitely another man.
Yeah. He didn't know they had that, did he?
Oh, no. I don't think he knew that they had that until he was in court. And they played it.
I
and
wish
he
I
was
could
like,
see his
oh,
face.
shit.
Do you have it?
Let me see. Let me see if it's on there. Let me see if it's on here.
You're like Whitney. I didn't have that pulled up.
No, you're fine. It'll be good if we have it.
I just wonder what his face looked like.
I don't see like his face
Yeah.
as soon as he's like as they pull it up. But I'm pretty sure it's in court when they realize it happens.
Yeah.
And then he has to backpedal and explain why he lied to the police. You don't think you found it?
I thought I did, but then I didn't.
Oh, well, it's okay.
It was his like interrogation video, I guess.
Yeah, I think he was a little surprised to say the least.
Yeah.
Now, the prosecution rested their case on February 17th. Okay, so then the defense went. And they had a witness who was a crime scene engineer and stated that the height of the shooter was not consistent with the height of Alex. I can't take that kind of stuff as evidence, in my opinion. You got someone that says they know how tall the person was because of the way the angle was. What? He couldn't have done this? He's a smart lawyer. You don't think he'd think of stuff?
Yeah, I do.
So I don't take that as evidence, in my opinion. I don't take that as, you're right. I'm going to completely forget that Snapchat video that has his voice in the background when he says he wasn't there.
Right, he was at his mom's. Even the cell phone puts him there, too.
Yeah. They're just trying to find reasonable doubt somewhere. The defense also argues that the crime scene was not handled properly by the first responders. It was raining that night, or it rained at some point that night and affected the crime scene. And Alex had called in family members and they were all walking around. How many times do we call family members to come to the scene of a crime and they screw it all up? Like, I would want my family to be there, yes, but, like, stop. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
Right.
That's what happened in, like, that Elizabeth Smart thing.
Mm-hmm.
The family came in and touched everything. We couldn't use anything because everyone covered up anybody's hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, stop touching stuff. On February 23rd, Alex took the stand to testify, and in my opinion, I don't think it's ever good for someone to defend themselves on the stand. I just think prosecution's gonna tear you apart. I always do. So, since Alex was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime, when he said he wasn't there, he had to change his story and admit that he was there, and he had to admit that he had repeatedly lied to law officers about whether he was there or not. He attributed the lies to paranoid thinking from his addiction to opioids.
So if he was there, who did he shoot him?
I don't know. He was probably inside. You know, he was outside with them and the dogs, and then went inside, and then conveniently someone showed up to kill them.
Yeah.
I don't know if he went inside to take some opioids or what, but he was paranoid that they were going to think he did it, so he had to say he was not there. No, I just don't think you realize Snapchat's a thing for kids.
Right.
The defense called a pathologist who testified that the state's pathologist had not correctly determined the entrance and exit wounds on Paul's body. So what? He still got shot in the head and was killed.
Mm-hmm.
What does that matter?
What? I know she went to the divorce attorney, but what was his motive for killing his own child? I mean, your youngest son.
Well, he's presumed, I mean, he's innocent in his mind, so he can't give you a motive as to why he did it.
But what are they saying in the state? Do you remember? Was it going to be legally if they found his son guilty? Were their parents like going to sue? You know what I mean?
From what I read, people do not think that it is tied to
the boat
incident.
Are they sure his mom didn't die first? Like they're 100% sure his son didn't witness him kill his mom?
That
would make
reconstruction was the only thing I really saw.
Yeah. And they're so close in time frame. I mean, could he not have shot her first and then
Well,
the son died first since it was in the head?
I think no matter who died first, he had 2 weapons at the ready.
You think he planned it?
Oh, yeah. He didn't shoot one of them and then have to shoot the other one because they witnessed it. If he was going to shoot his wife to kill her because she was leaving him, he would have done it sometime when Paul wasn't there. He had 2 weapons there for a reason. He was killing both of them, I think.
But what is the motive to kill your own son?
And not the other one. Buster wasn't even there. Maybe if Buster was there, he would have killed Buster too, but Buster was gone. He was at like his girlfriend's house or something, from what I read. I don't know. Paul was a troubled kid. She wanted to divorce him. Maybe Paul was taking his mom's side. And maybe, I'll get to it, but he gets charged with a lot of stuff like that embezzlement and that fraud and money laundering and stuff. Maybe Paul knew stuff and was going to testify against his own dad. You know, he's like, Dad, you're a piece of crap and blah, 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 blah. I don't know what happened behind closed doors. It's impossible to know because Alex is going to tell you that everything was great.
Right.
I have no motive to kill my family.
Right.
And from what I read too, Buster was the child that had his shit together.
The golden child.
But he also got kicked out of law school because of a bad GPA. So he wasn't perfect.
Right.
And it's also accused
Buster
of killing
reminds me of his papa. And Paul was close to his mom.
Yeah, and that might
And I
be
feel
it.
like Buster is just like his dad.
He looks just like him too.
They talk the same. They have the exact same voice.
Really, I don't think I've heard Buster talk.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look at any interviews of him.
When I was into it, he was like all for his dad being innocent. So I don't know if he's changing his story now that the public's really gotten everything. I think he knew the whole time and was staying by his dad. I think he knew. In my opinion, when I looked into it, I think Buster knew that he killed his mom and Paul.
Yeah.
They just seem like too tight-knit of a, you know what I mean?
I feel like if you lost your mom and your brother, you'd want to cling as hard as you can to the only family you have left. And maybe not see stuff that's right in front of you. I know there's there's an interview somewhere. I don't have it and I haven't watched it, but my mom told me about it. It's Alex's brothers, and they get in an interview and they're like very emotional, talking about how Alex didn't do any of this. Like, this is crazy that people are accusing Alex of doing this. And then after the trial, when they see all the evidence that the police have against him, they're like, Alex did it. You know, like, they're like, nope, I'm not standing by my brother now.
Yeah. So maybe maybe his son felt the same way.
Yeah.
I just always thought he maybe not.
There was something that I saw that made me think that Buster is not on his dad's side anymore. I think he was at first.
Yeah.
I didn't read the article, but it was something that made me think that Buster's not technically on his side anymore. Now, Buster and Alex's brother John took the stand as witnesses, so they were for him. And on February 27th, the defense rested their case after a quick reply by the prosecution. Closing arguments began on March 1st. So what? The trial began on January 25th. By March 1st. So it's a lengthy trial. A lot of information, a lot of testimony. And the jury began deliberating on March 2nd. Now, after only 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Alex Murdaugh guilty on 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during a violent crime. I thought that was wild. 3 hours.
Like he done it.
I feel like that's only enough time for the jury to sit down, like swear their oaths, whatever it is they do back there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they take like a pre-vote, like how does everybody feel in this instant, and then we'll talk about it. And first thing, everybody's probably like guilty. They're probably like, oh, okay, let's do the paperwork and leave. Like, I don't feel like 3 hours is long when it comes to jury time of all the paperwork and crap that they have to do. How many hours did they deliberate for Karen Reed before they finally said it was a mistrial?
Weeks.
It was a lot of hours.
It was days.
Yeah, I mean, I think altogether, like, hours, this doesn't count days, this is hours that they were actually in the room deliberating, was like 30. It's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And then they finally gave up. So, the defense requested a mistrial by saying, in quotes, the evidence of guilt is overwhelming. But the judge denied that and added that the circumstantial evidence, direct evidence, all the evidence point to one conclusion, and that's the conclusion that you all reached. So the defense is like, look at him. He is so sad that there's no way he could have done it. He's so distraught. This is a mistrial. They're like, no, we all agree that he did it.
Right.
And the judge is like, I 100% think he did it.
Yeah.
And they all came to that conclusion, so no, we're done here. Alex was sentenced 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole on March 3rd, 2023. So just last year. Now, if we look back on his other charges of the embezzlement and the fraud and all of that, he's going to pay for that too. On May 24th of 2023, A grand jury indicted Alex of 22 counts for money laundering, wire fraud, bank fraud, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud and bank fraud. And on November 17th, 2023, Alex pleaded guilty to all 22 counts, and he was sentenced to another 27 years in prison by the state government. On top of that, the federal court sentenced him to 40 years to run concurrently with the previous sentences. He was also ordered to pay reparations of $8.7 million to his victims, including the family of his former housekeeper, the girl that had a fall at his house and died. If he got insurance money from her, who's to say he didn't, like, he wasn't the one that tripped her, not one of the dogs.
Right.
Now, Alex does appeal, of course, because everybody does. Even people that are caught freaking red-handed, they appeal. And on January 29th, 2024, a judge denied him of a new trial. And the latest news, which was what got this back in the news and got me started on here, on August 13th, the South Carolina Supreme Court agreed in an order to hear arguments in the jury tampering case and decided if the judge in January incorrectly ruled that Murdaugh doesn't deserve a new murder trial. So they're saying the jury was tampered in his original case, and that was why they were asking for a retrial. And so when the judge denied him, so we'll see if the Supreme Court lets him have a retrial, and we'll update you on that. That's all I know. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's a good one. I definitely think he did it. I wish I knew the exact reasoning behind killing your child.
Mm.
I mean, and I don't mean this lightly. People kill their spouses, ex-spouses all the time, but murdering your own child, I mean, there's something really wrong with you.
And that is what my mom said. Mom's like, I can get murdering your spouse.
Right.
You know, all people do it all the time.
Yeah, but your own, like, son, like your baby, for what? What did he, like...
What was he going to gain from it? Was he going to get their life insurance?
I don't think it was money driven.
We got to find some kind of reason why he would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was embezzling people, tripping people, suing himself for money.
Yeah.
Who's to say he wouldn't kill his wife and son for money?
I think he had enough scams going on, though, that he was good, you know?
No, he was getting caught.
I don't think it, unless they were going to turn him in for everything.
Yeah, and they should. But yeah, that's all I know. I'll keep you updated if there's going to be a retrial. I really hope there's not, because this guy clearly did this. But I can also understand why he's suspecting jury tampering, because it took this jury 5 minutes to say he was guilty. But it's a smoking gun. When you say you're not at the scene of the crime, but you're at the scene of the crime a minute before he dies.
By Snapchat and your phone.
Yeah.
Like, 2 things show you there.
Yeah.
There's no getting out of it.
And he had no alibi.
Have they found the weapons?
I don't know. I didn't see that in any of my research, so I'm not sure.
I don't think they have.
I think that whole crime just like everything about it was orchestrated like someone knew how to get away with murder. He would have gotten away with it if Paul didn't take that Snapchat video. Yeah. I 100% think he would have gotten away with it. But Paul caught his own killer, which is awesome.
Yeah. Without knowing it.
Yeah, without knowing it. So, yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's so much information on this one. There are so many good podcasts out there. It's impossible to, like, if you want to hear more on this story, go find some other podcasts. There's amazing podcasts out there with more in it.
There's documentaries.
Oh, yeah. Netflix. I mean, it's just everywhere. This is a really big case. So, thank you for listening. And let us know how you like this one. Leave a comment on YouTube. Let us know if you liked it. If you didn't like it, let us know what you'd like to hear. It's been a while since we've heard from people about what they want us to cover. I think I already know what I'm going to do next. And then I think I might be covering Delphi after that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm going to cover Delphi after that because we're getting close to the Delphi trial. So, yeah, let us know what you thought. If you liked it, give us a like, give us a follow, comment, let us know what we can do better, what you'd like to hear. And yeah,
That was a good one.
we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Okay, bye.